If you've ever looked at a farmhouse in Tennessee and thought, that's the dream.
How much does it actually cost to build that lifestyle in Tennessee?
We want to share our story with you so that you can have an example to go on. Your dream may not line up perfectly with ours. The numbers certainly won't match identically, but we thought it might still be helpful for people who are just curious. Can this work? What does it look like? How do you do it?
We're going to break down the process in phases. We're going to explain what we did ourselves, what we had hired out, and what we would do differently if we started it all over.
And if you stick around until the end, we'll give you the full real numbers, including the land purchase, the renovation costs, and what the property appraised for afterward. We're Clark and Christy Powers, and we've helped over 100 families find their homes. If you want more honest, insider information about moving to Middle Tennessee, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We break down the different cities, neighborhoods, lifestyle differences, and what you need to know before making a move here.
Let's start with phase one, the land and the home itself.
The home that we bought has sentimental value to us because it belonged to some close family friends of ours. And I actually grew up coming to this house as a little girl. When my dad was a teenager, he worked the land out back. It was even my namesake's house, the lady I'm named after. So it's very special to us. And we'd always, when we would drive by, we'd always say, if that one ever came for sale, we would have to explore that. So when in 2022, the family decided to sell the property and they divided the farmland up into 4 tracts. And we were able to purchase the home and 5 acres at the auction.
Here's what we did to make sure that we were successful at the auction when it came time. First of all, we did all of our research beforehand. We spoke with our lender and understood exactly how much we could spend on the property. We talked to contacts in the business to help us generate an acceptable price range that we'd be comfortable paying. As you guys know by now probably, I am a contractor, so I did an estimate on how much the renovation and the addition that we were looking to do would cost before we made our first bid on the home.
There's a lot of ways to go about your bidding process and your style of bidding. And we also, of course, have experience as realtors, but research that more thoroughly.
Don't tell them the secrets.
Only if you're our clients. No, I'm just kidding. But we did research that really thoroughly to make sure that we were equipped and ready to not get caught up in the heat of the moment at the auction. So we'd love to share those if that's the route you decide to go. So the number that we paid at the auction is only part of the story. The next decision we made is what really changed the budget.
Obviously, size is a very important thing to consider when you are planning a budget for your property. So all of these numbers are based on our house, which is about 3,800 square feet under roof. So the next phase is the renovation and the addition that we did to the home. We have an advantage here. I'm a general contractor, so I was able to organize all of that work and actually do a lot of the work myself on the home. Hey. You're supposed to run the jackhammer, not let the jackhammer run you.
It's bigger than me.
But the trade-off with doing some of the work yourself or managing your own job, which you can even if you're not a general contractor, is that it causes the project to take longer. So if you hire a general contractor, they're going to make sure everybody's on time. And whatever expertise you have, you're probably not as fast as the guys who do this every day of their lives. Maybe you're interested in managing the renovation of your home or even building a custom home. Advice I would have as a general contractor is, even for me, even for builders who do this often, there is always something that pops up that we forgot about, we didn't take into account, or our clients, in this case, that being us, we changed our minds about what we wanted. So a key thing that you need to do if you want to manage your own project is have a contingency baked into your budget. Usually 5 to 10% of the cost. It's not assigned to anything until something goes wrong, or if there's the countertops that you fall in love with that are more expensive, those kind of situations. Kind of have a backup plan. Another aspect of the renovation that we utilize is phasing out the work. We have done the first phase already, which is we added a 1,400 square foot addition to the house. We remodeled the existing home. Phase 2, we haven't started yet, but we hope to soon, which is we're going to build a garage and have a nice bonus room above for our really loud children to play in. And then phase 3, we're going to get a pool, even though I haven't told Christy that yet.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
what you put in there?
Yeah, that's what I want.
We're getting a pool. I feel like Christmas vacation.
I was like, this is almost verbatim.
You got your Christmas bonus?
Yeah.
That's great. You serious, Clark?
Yeah, then you could just say that in the background. Say you do have a house you're trying to renovate, maybe it's a historic home like ours. How do you decide what you should keep or what you should change? For us, it was fairly easy because of the shape of the house. It was, it literally needed almost everything. So the only things that are remaining from our original house are the foundation, doors on the inside, and the framing of the house. So the rest of it needed to be taken out. And there's always a trade-off with the beauty of the old style and how it performs now, right? So for instance, we kept the original floors in the old part of the house that are beautiful, heart pine. No way to get those anymore. They quit making those years and years ago. However, they're frigid in the winter. So
So we wear slippers.
Yes. So we all have house shoes, and we just deal with those old cold floors. But we wouldn't trade it for the world because they're so beautiful at the same time.
Another really cool thing that Clark was able to do for us was that we had to get new windows. Had to. They were not functioning and very drafty. But I was really bummed because I like the old streaky glass. But when you marry an awesome contractor, he actually salvaged a lot of the glass and ended up using that glass in our new kitchen cabinets as some of the glass doors. So there's also a ton of little things like that that you can do that may save some of that sentimental value and add that character, but just used in a different way.
So with this project specifically, we didn't really have any of those renovation surprises that you might see on HGTV. And that's because we knew that it needed almost everything.
And I think for us, that extra money that you save for surprises, we did end up still spending it, as do almost all of our clients when they go through this process.
All of them.
All of them. Everybody goes in thinking, I won't need to spend it, and then it's the faucet that you love, or the pot filler that you love, or the soapstone counters that you're like, everybody's telling you not to, but you just love them, so you do it anyway. Whatever it is that you love, you end up splurging on it. So what are the additional costs that most people don't think about?
If you do have that little larger piece of land dream, if you've got that family compound idea, I feel like everybody's talking about that right now. One thing that you need to take into account is the cost to maintain the land. Fun way, go buy yourself a tractor and a bush hog. And the less fun way, hire somebody else to do it. One of the main draws, one of the main reasons that people want to do this is because they want to increase the level of privacy they have in their life. So what that meant is we had to buy an additional acre so that we could keep that higher level of privacy intact. Some of these country dreams also cost some money. So Christy thinks she's a gardener.
I am a gardener.
So one of the costs that we had not anticipated was the cost to buy a tiller attachment for our tractor. There are many pieces of land that are large and private like ours that are a little more manicured, right? So there are people that I know that have 4 acres, 3-4 acres, that they cut all that grass with a lawnmower. So that can be done. But for me, that's even a higher time commitment than if you were to have the tractor, because I bush hog 4 or 5 times a year. They have to cut that grass in the summer, once a week, once every 2 weeks. But if the idea of having a tractor is not your cup of tea, there are properties out there that you can make it work with just a lawnmower.
All right, if you've made it this far, here's the full breakdown of what the Tennessee Dream cost us. We still think it's one of the best decisions we've ever made. But if you're trying to plan wisely, we want to give you real numbers.
So give us the real numbers without...
I have no idea.
She has no idea what it costs.
I woke up.
But I love it here.
So when we originally purchased the land and the home at auction, we spent $366,000. The renovation cost was around $315,000. You should add probably 20% to that if you're planning on hiring a general contractor. The tractor and all the implements that we use here on a regular basis cost us in the ballpark of $32,000. Our taxes here are $2,900 annually. For you folks that live elsewhere, that's annually, not monthly.
There's another tax benefit depending on how you use your land. If you actually use it for agricultural purposes, or there's a tax break for greenbelt status, but you have to have a minimum of 15 acres, and that could change over time. But we're happy to dive in to help you gather that information depending on where you're looking for land and what those perks might be for you.
Property maintenance, we spend about $3,500 annually. This includes cleaning the house, cleaning the gutters, also including all of our lawn care, our landscaping. We do all that ourselves, but there's still all the fertilizer, the overseeding, the new mulch. So that acre of land that we talked about to ensure our privacy, that cost us $65,000. How much does that all add up to? Did you do the math in your head? Did you?
No.
No. Okay, me neither. I used the calculator earlier. We purchased the place in March of 2022. We were able to move in November of 2023. And so that whole process, everything all in to get our Tennessee dream cost $778,000. So hot shot, how much is it worth?
Well, that's a really fun part of this, is it does take time to accomplish that dream and that goal, right? And oftentimes when you invest in real estate, that time can pay because you get equity in it the longer you own things, usually. And in our case, that worked out really well for us. We had the home appraised in 2024 after we had completed the renovations. And before I share that number, I want to throw in there, appraisers' jobs are more to protect a bank and give their data and their input to protect a bank from over-lending money. So I want to clarify that piece of the puzzle. What it's worth might be different than what the appraised value is. But in the appraised value, in 2024, our appraisal came in at $1.1 million, which we were pleased with. But we'll also say that when you have something unique and different that many people want, they will also often pay more than just the appraised value. So if we were going to list the house today, I wouldn't necessarily just base it on what the appraiser said it was worth. I would go back and see what people are willing to pay for properties like this now. And today, now 2 years later from that appraisal, I would list it for more than that appraised value. However, it's not for sale.
If you have a similar dream to what we've just outlined, the big takeaway is this: you can do it. It absolutely can be done. People do it all the time. There's beautiful homes getting remodeled and new construction on these nice, beautiful pieces of land. It's happening every day here. But the smartest thing you can do is take the whole thing into account when you're doing your planning. Not just the purchase price, but also remember all of those ancillary costs that are going to pop up.
Because the Tennessee dream is real. It just costs what it costs. And when you go into it with that clarity, then you can make decisions that you feel good about long term.